The Old Testament is full of gems, full of all kinds of information, useful knowledge that we can apply to our everyday life, but we overlook it because we have a New Testament. I guess that's why we overlook it. But I was listening to Napoleon Hill, who's got to be my favorite all time self help guru. He quoted a verse from Habakkuk, Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3. And I've heard this verse before, but I never realized the perspective that he had because Napoleon Hill decided to apply it to the realm of personal development. Now, this particular verse in the Old Testament has to do with direct revelation from God. So maybe you're asking yourself, or maybe you're saying that there's no way that these things can be similar. Your vision, your imagination that you have, how can this be anywhere close to a direct revelation from God? And you'd be right. But we also understand that basic Bible knowledge teaches us that the way God interacted with man in the Old Testament is completely different than how he interacts with man in the New Testament. But that doesn't mean we just disregard the Old Testament. No, there's tons and tons of things that we can apply, but we don't apply them because we don't understand the culture and the context of how they were meant to be used in the Old Testament. Let me go ahead and read you this verse. I wrote it down. It's Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3. For the vision is set for an appointed time, but at the end of it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because surely it will come. It will not tarry. This this is what Habakkuk was asking God for. He was really upset because the children of God, had been suffering injustices at the hands of these wicked people. Habakkuk was sick of it. He wanted justice for his people, and rightly so. And so God told him, hang on, I've got a vision. This vision is coming. It's coming at the appointed time. Don't worry if it hasn't happened yet, because it will happen. So we've got precursors to faith right off the top. But not only that, we can learn from this formula. Because even though we might not get a direct revelation from God, God has created us in His image, and His image is creative. So we have the creative capacity within us. The fundamental element of having a creative capacity is imagination. Now, imagination is built on visions. And again, these aren't some kind of crazy visions where some spaceship is coming down and we better drink this Kool-Aid or we're going to miss out on Judgment Day or whatever. I don't, that's ridiculous. But if we concentrate on who it is we are and the vision that we have of ourselves, not our actual selves, the person now, but our potential self in the future, then there's a whole lot we can apply with what Habakkuk has been given directly from God. And the first thing is just an overall vision. Now, most of us, if you've got a strong enough self identity, you know at the very least who you are. The next question is, who is it you need to become? Who is the future you? What does the future you look like? What is the future you doing? If everything we wanted was given to us now, if our vision manifested currently, right now, if we don't have the character within ourselves to support that vision, it's going to crush us. There's no way we can handle and be responsible for the blessings of a materialized vision if our character is weak. So, that whole part about the vision may tarry, that means that we might have to wait, and waiting sucks, and there's no end cap on waiting. It would be really nice to think about having only to wait about like a year or 6 months, or I mean, shoot, most of us want it like tomorrow, but like an expiration date or a starting date, a date that you knew was coming and you knew you had to be ready for this date. Then all of a sudden, like magic, the genie in the sky gonna grant your wish, and everything's gonna be how you want it. It sounds great. It sounds wonderful until you stop and realize that there's a process that we all have to go through in order to be the person who is ready to receive the blessings. And honestly, a lot of us, myself included, don't like thinking about the inconsistencies, the incompleteness within us that needs to be fulfilled or at least worked on and developed so that we'll be the person who's capable of stewarding the vision that we want materialized. Until we understand that it's not just waiting in vain like the Bob Marley song, it's waiting and getting stronger, is going through the reps of life every single day, knowing that our vision, what we have in our imagination, that clear mental image, it's already ours. It's just ours at the appointed time. Now, maybe you think you can speed the process up. Maybe we can speed the process up. Maybe if we get to be the absolute best version of ourselves as fast as possible, maybe that'll give us our blessing and the fruit of our imagination even faster. I can't answer that, but I can tell you that there's a relaxed, cool, calm power that has to be developed without necessarily being rushed so that we can understand the pride we have to take in the process of attaining our dream. If we're not willing to go through that process, well, then we're probably not worthy of what we actually want. And that can be crushing. But again, the vision that we have, that clear mental image of who it is we know we can be, that is already us. It's our job to step into it. And we step into it by having a sense of identity, understanding who it is we are now, and why exactly we need to become the person that we need to become. Our daily process, our ins and outs, the nuances of our day. This is fundamental in this tarrying, in this waiting process. We have to have a plan. We have to have a small set of daily habits that we do each and every day that moves the needle forward just a little bit. We don't have to do anything crazy or outlandish. We just have to have a little checklist, a small checklist. And every day we do one or two or three or four little things towards having a better body, towards having a better financial future, towards being able to communicate more clearly, developing a skill that'll help us in our job. These are all things, small things we can do that will actually facilitate the process of us receiving the blessings. We can't just pray to God that we need extra money and then not actually do anything to get the money. I mean, waiting for a check to arrive in the mail. I mean, maybe if you're like some 80-year-old person, you can't do anything anymore. All you can do is sit and pray. I mean, maybe. But even then, I promise you, there's probably something you can do, some small step, small, minute action you can take every day and build on it to increase the likelihood of manifesting this money. Faith without action is not even faith, because if you don't believe in it hard enough to work for it, then you don't believe in it at all. And maybe that's where a lot of us go wrong in the beginning, is not having a clear sense of identity of who it is we are and what it is we actually want to become. So many of us put so much importance on people pleasing. We do and communicate ourselves in such a way, we try to convince people of who it is we actually are instead of being who we are, and our actions stemming from this identity, a sincere self, an authentic person. The world is craving a sense of sincerity. That's why they love it when they finally pick up on the fact that you really don't care about their opinion and they can actually express what they want to you, and you'll tell them what you feel about it, not necessarily what you think they want to hear, but what you actually want them to know. Once you develop these sense of this communication skill, this testament to yourself, when you figure out who it is that you are, then all of a sudden visions and imagination, they're centered and they're grounded and they're rooted in a true sense of identity. And a lot of times these visions and everything that we want manifested, it can all happen so much faster once we get our thoughts, our words, and our actions in alignment. This is called conscious congruency. And when any of those things are out of alignment, it's called cognitive dissonance. What that means is your thoughts don't necessarily match your words. Have you ever been in a situation where you're talking to somebody and you're literally telling them something that you don't really feel? And as you're speaking the words, you feel like this slight tinge of guilt or shame, even a little bit, because you know you're just saying these things to get a specific reaction from this person instead of just being true to yourself and telling them how you actually feel about something. Same thing with our actions. A lot of times we tell people what they want to hear, but we're actually doing things that don't make any sense, that are incongruent with the words that we spoke. These are all ways where we get out of alignment with ourselves. Once we get that conscious congruence, once our thoughts become our words and our words become our actions, there's 100% congruency there. Then our manifestation, the fruits of our imagination, we're able to realize and actualize these things much faster than we would if we're out of alignment. And if we're out of alignment, we're probably not going to get there anyway. So, to sum everything up, we've got Habakkuk, and we've got this formula for a vision and a time that these vision will manifest itself. And we've got a waiting period. We've got all of these things that we know are going to happen. And the biggest takeaway from all of this is patience. But patience and waiting have to be backed up with severe action. You've got to work towards your goals. You've got to become a better person each and every day. And it's this process, this blueprint, each and every day when we move a little bit closer, that's when we can manifest almost in real time what our imagination, what it is we need, what it is we want, the person we want to become. All of those things are available to us at a much faster rate once we get our thoughts, words, and actions in complete alignment and understand that waiting is part of the process. And this process, we all go through it. Don't get discouraged. Get better.